All right. Your sales team is likely selling too low. And I can say that because I see this consistently across companies, across all categories. So if you're not doing this, then you're an exception, not the rule. What I mean by selling too low is this, that the sales team anchors the value of what they sell to the pain of the end user. Now, that matters. It's necessary. You have to do that. But by itself, it's rarely ideal. Let me explain with a win room from earlier this week. The sales team was explaining why they're being championed within the organization. Their champions team is spending far too much time doing manual work. And that manual work also introduces errors while limiting the completeness of the data captured from the documents they're manually processing. All right. Yes, the technology they're selling solves that. But when this proposal worth, $250,000 or more gets to the CFO for budgetary sign-off, this isn't the story he should be hearing. The story around reducing manual work and capturing more data. Because the real story is this. If you look at the annual report and the most recent earnings calls, core growth strategy of their prospects company that the CEO and CFO of that company are discussing with investors, and the three primary revenue levers for that company are based on the exact work being done manually, the operational layer underneath all of their growth. So yes, the software reduces manual work, and yes, it improves automation and increases efficiency. But what it's really doing is building a scalable infrastructure underneath the company's growth strategy. That is a completely different conversation, because now the story becomes, if Wall Street knew that this critical operational layer was being managed manually, they would be appalled. Further, the public documents show that this $250K plus cost for the technology is less than 0.1% of what the company is investing each quarter in that growth strategy. When this budget goes to the CFO for approval, this is no longer about labor hours. Now, the CFO is buying something that makes their strategy and their narrative airtight for the most nominal investment versus the rest of their investment in that growth strategy. And guess what? They can use the next earnings call and the CFO's ability to tell this narrative to investors in that call as a compelling event for contracting this quarter, instead of it slipping to the next quarter as it did last quarter, because there was no compelling event tied to securing the solution. After all, manual work has been happening for years. What's another quarter or so? But that changes when you've anchored not to the manual work solution, but to the Wall Street growth strategy narrative. So the lesson is this. This is where many deals stall or get lost, is selling only to the end user pain, because the end user's pain is what creates the interest in buying. But executive level pain is what creates urgency and likely brings it to a close. This is what great sales teams lean into. But you might think you have a product too tactical to connect to that level. Yet I would say there's a good chance you simply haven't thought deeply enough about what you're doing and done the work to do the research to find out what your prospects are really working on at the highest levels. I just mentioned, as a very legitimate real life use case, a document abstraction software, document abstraction. And I've helped sales teams credibly tie their sales to earnings call narratives for clients who sell gaskets to appliance manufacturers, workforce enablement platforms to the world's largest retailers, student loan solutions to the world's most powerful public sector entities, gaskets, workforce enablement platforms, student loan solutions. While it may be possible that what you're selling is just not able to be tied to the highest levels of your prospects' corporate pains and goals, it seems kind of unlikely. And at a minimum, you're probably still selling too low and can go higher in terms of the sort of pains that you're solving. If your sales force isn't working to do this, as every part of your make or break deals, they're missing a key element of selling, and you're likely missing deals that you could have won. So look at your biggest deal right now. Ask yourself, how are we selling? What are we selling? Are we selling vitamins to the end user? Or are we selling painkillers to the CEO and the CFO's quarterly migraine? In our win rooms, we turn your real live make or break deals into a classroom for your revenue organization by dissecting deals in a structured way, surfacing and discussing concepts like this one that your sales reps and sales management layer are overlooking. And then we design real actions for the team to execute against to increase their chances of winning those deals that can change the trajectory of your quarter and perhaps even your fiscal year. If this sounds like something you're interested in learning more about, reach out.